Okay, so I should be back live. Let me just make sure that I have everything. Okay. Okay, everything should be fine now. Okay, let me see. I'm sorry, guys. My name's Jose. Welcome to the stream. Today we're gonna talk about Kote, and hopefully I can get the message that my stream broke some people out there, and that they can come back and join this one. Let me see. Maybe what I'll do is I'll try doing a little bit of a different stream later. Okay, but the plan today is to talk about Kote and break down some of the elements to make Kote a little bit outside of the Kihon practice, right? Because this week I made a video on Kote, how to do it based on Kihon, right? So maybe we can talk a little bit about making it a little bit more competitive, talking about the different angles we can hit, and we can talk about some of the challenges that we may have when trying to do Kote. So hopefully this is good. Ends up being a good stream because it started kind of broken. So let me just make sure. Okay, so if you're here, please let me know you're here by hitting the like button or just letting me know in the messages, and I can start going with some of the stuff happening. If you would like to join the Discord server, I'm putting up the link in a second there, and I think we should be fine. Let me know if the music is too loud. If everything is good. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I think everything's coming out better, much better. So again, let me know you're here. Let me know that everything is good in the chat, that everything's fine. Everything I'm getting right now, since the feed seems to be okay. What I'm gonna do is that I am going to put the link in the previous stream. Okay, now things are much better, right? Let me see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go over Kote in a little bit more competitive way than I did for my last video that I posted on Monday. And the point of that is trying to figure out what are some of the problems that we are having when doing Kote. Actually, in the first video that I'm going to play with Nishimura, he talks a little bit about the fact that when you do Kote, especially from above, every little movement on the angle from your receiver can mess up your execution. So we're gonna talk a little bit about this, about how to have better chances, maybe in competition, and as well how to do it better at the dojo. So hope you enjoy, guys, today's stream. I'm not gonna make it very long. What I did is I picked up a couple of videos that are very short. We're gonna run through them and hopefully learn something today. And let me just make sure that I post. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. Just want to post it try to get some people in here from Facebook and Instagram. Okay. And as I said, yeah, my chair is not broken, but it just sinks little by little. And I read online that you cannot fix it, you need to buy a new one. So I don't see myself buying a new chair anytime soon. So maybe I'll be doing the streams standing up. It's good for you though. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, so yes, I can practice my stances. I can do a little bit more of movement with my footwork. And lately, it's actually a good thing because lately I've been working hard on trying to make my footwork less predictable, a little bit more fluid, especially at the moment right after seme. I started picking it up on myself a while back, but I also see it more on videos. Especially I saw it a lot of times in the European Championship and when I go to dojos, that people, when they try to approach, there's a freeze, and it's not like a freeze that they are holding for the right moment, but it's kind of, you can see their weight just like lowering down, kind of like they're settling after they take one step. And actually I'm getting ready to record a video about things to kind of help, little things that you can do to start improving your kendo. And this is one of the things that I want to implement, I want to apply into that video. I want to share some of the things that I've been doing. So I don't know how that's going to work out yet, but if you have any questions or any suggestions about that, you are welcome to share it. That being said, guys, please, if you haven't, hit the like button, even though I haven't really played any videos yet, because it will help this stream be pushed out to more people, and I promise you I'm playing videos. I'm gonna watch over some kendo. By the way, the memberships in the channel are up right now, and what I'm doing with the memberships, and you guys tell me if you have any better suggestion, I'll be doing some exclusive streams or streams that only members will have access to chat to ask questions with various people that I'm going to be bringing up in the future. But also, one of the perks for one of the tiers is that you can send me your videos, we can go over them in a one-to-one setting. And these are the ideas that I'm having for the membership, something to give you time. Maybe we can talk about kendo specifically, questions, and I can bring somebody else to answer your questions as well if I don't have the answers, because most likely, there's going to be a better answer too from higher level senseis. But these are the things that I'm doing, and you tell me if you have any suggestions or anything different you would like me to do. Just opening up the videos. Okay, so the first one, as I mentioned before, is going to be the Nishimura lesson on Kote. I think it's very interesting. We're gonna go over it together and have a little bit of discussion on what makes this so good. If you don't know, his under Kote, his Kote from underneath, it's one of the best, I think. He has a very nice Kote, especially when going under. Not that his Kote from above isn't good. Okay, now why am I not getting video here? Maybe because it's paused. Oh, maybe this. Okay, now you guys are getting no video. 1 second, guys. Okay, something's going on with the player. Okay, you guys should have the video right now. Okay, so let's break it down a little bit. So this is something that I see as being one of the biggest problems when hitting kote, whether it's from above or below. That people, because it is the nearest target, sometimes you can actually get it without even moving, or should I say, you can get it with very little movement. So people tend to just kind of reach over for it, and it has no power. And it just puts you in a worse position, because if you do this, you come in, and then you get stuck. You do that settling down. So you might see people hitting kote like very fast, very quick, very strong, but they don't move. So it's like they have to force themselves to move after. I think this is one of the reasons. They just don't have the intention to move first versus the intention to attack. And the solution to this is to make sure that you start moving your feet first before you do any technique. So a lot of times when I do my suburi, as a matter of fact, let me see if I have one of the little ones. This is one of the advantages of doing the stream standing up. So let me see if I can put myself in the camera real quick. So one of the things, and you cannot see my feet right now, but one of the things is that when we do suburi, people tend to do this type of thing, right? So I try, when I do my suburi, to make it a little bit more dynamic, a little more realistic. So I throw my legs first, and then I try to catch up with the hands. I don't know if you do the suburi this way. It's very tiring when you do it this way properly, because you have to put a lot more force. It's like if everybody's doing suburi at one pace, you're holding yourself before the swing, even though everybody started, and then you want to end up at the same time. So yeah, it's a little bit more explosive, but it's definitely more challenging to do. And I think it's good training to kind of get in the habit of moving your body first over your hands.
そうすると当たらない。なんでかというと、逆に言うと、コテは竹刀を持ってる手だから、こっちがちょっとでもピッて動いたら、ちょっとでもこっちが動いたら。
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That your suba is going to be so close, the angle is going to be so hard.
この距離感を分からないように、上半身で早く打とうと思ったら動いちゃうから、その瞬間に避けられちゃう。だからそれを分からないように、ここを変えないで中に入っていって、その後。
So that to me is one of the biggest points that people tend to overlook, and is to come in, the importance of being able to come in without having any type of tell, or being able to relax the upper body. Because a lot of times when we come in, we tense up the shoulders, we lift the tip, and you want to avoid all this. You want to try to come in to make it unpredictable to which target you're hitting. It's not that you're making unpredictable that you're moving. Okay, you're moving, they can understand you're moving, but they don't know where you're going, what your intention is. And when you come in this way, it makes it much more harder, and you're gonna get a more of an overreaction from your opponent.
上から打つ場合は、これだけの振り幅があるから、左手をこっちに上げても全然大丈夫なんです。
Now, I wanted to take this opportunity to just show the extension on his hand, right? When he hits. Hold on, let me see. Because even though that he's showing, what's it called? Even though that he's just demonstrating, basically, there's something to be said here. You see, he's hitting the kote high. Yeah, okay, his partner is raising the hands up, so maybe that's why he's having the left hand a little bit that high, and I think maybe a little bit bent. But that being said, he's not hitting the kote. I don't know if you can see my mouth. Yeah, he's not hitting the kote down here, right? Many people, when they hit kote, they just throw down, and this makes it harder to actually get a good impact. He's actually aiming to hit with the tip of the sword from above of the kote. Let me get a kote, hold on. Again, much more easier to get stuff when I'm not sitting down. But when you're hitting kote, let me see. So I don't know if you guys can see my kote. Maybe I should do the whole screen. So one of the biggest things I feel that when hitting kote is that many people, let's say that you even have a clear target, they hit from below with the hands down, and this happens, right? It's going to be such a weird impact. A lot of surface area, yes, but most of the times the opponent is not gonna have the kote open like this. The kote is gonna be like this. Let me just, I guess, give it a little shiai as well. But even with a little shiai. Okay, this looks funny. So if the person has the shiai out this way and you're coming in with the kote from below, you have high chances of getting into this. But if you're coming from above, right, it's, and I'm exaggerating the motion, I guess you'll see Nishimura's one in a second, but you see he's coming out this way and he's hitting from above the shiai. When you're coming from below, more chances of hitting a lot of surface area. Here, you're able to come in and hit a little bit of surface, a little bit of better surface. So I don't know how you guys do this. Is this something that's practical for you? Have you heard this before? Yeah, let me know. This is how I was taught to do kote. Do not hit. Oh, okay, you cannot see here. See? Oh, run. Okay, do not hit down for my kote. Like hit, I'm trying to stand on my tiptoes. Not hit down, but instead hit away, right? And it's almost like the same as hitting men, just with a tip lower. Do I have a hole in my shirt? Oh no, that's Mario's foot. Look at that. Okay. I don't know if you guys do it like this, but
上げても全然大丈夫なんだけど、逆に下に行った時ってこれだけしか振り幅がないから左手を
that's another thing. Hitting from underneath, it's a little bit of a different swing. It's not exactly the same. Iso, so that's how your sensei teaches as well. Cool. That's nice.
上げてしまったら内が軽く見えちゃう。わかる？そしたら音が鳴らない。で一本鳴らない。音が鳴らない。内が軽く見えたら一本鳴らない。じゃあどうするか。下に持っていったらこっから左手を下げに。難しいな。下げてから左手をこっちにシナイ持っていきながら左手を下げていくと必然的にシナイ上がったでしょ。とこれだけの振り幅ができる。
Okay, I just want to break it down, make sure that we pick up every detail that we can on this. But okay, so he's saying that you want to lower your left hand, and in essence what this does is that it helps you raise the tip, right? As the hand's going down, the tip's gonna go up. But interesting enough, you're not gonna get in the way. Like your opponent's shiai is not gonna get on the way, right? So, in my opinion, right? This is my opinion. I'm not saying that this is how it's done, but if you don't lower the left hand to go underneath, what's going to happen is that you're going to come up in the same angle where your hand was, and because you don't want to overswing to create momentum, you're not gonna have that much. If you don't overswing, you're not gonna have a good impact. So therefore, what he's saying is to adjust this distance, to adjust to this scenario, you want to change the hand position lower to then extend. You see? Keep the posture and then rush fiercely forward. So you are also using the body, but I want you to see this. So if he had the left hand here, the kote has to come in from above, right? But since he lowers the left hand, Let's see when he goes. Oh, I went too far. So you see here, he's able to come in with the left hand a little bit lower so then he can bring it up as he strikes. That being said, still very compact. I'm not saying that he's gonna bring it up all the way up here, but he's gonna use his tenouchi, right? So in essence, because I don't want this to be misunderstood, he's not hitting down. Let me get my little shiai. Hold on. So even though he's lower, let me see if I can lower the camera a little bit. You guys can see a little bit more here. Okay. Is that crooked? Is that camera crooked? Okay, maybe like this better. But he's not making the impact down, right? He's lowering the hand to then hit forward, right? Using the tenouchi to get the impact. He's using the tenouchi to get the impact, but he's not striking down with the arms. Right? He's not doing this type of striking. He is lowering the left hand, and sorry that this is such a bad position because of the camera, but he's reaching forward. After he lowers the hand to create space, he's reaching forward. In essence, what I'm trying to say is that you don't want to hit the kote down. First, because he gets a bad impact, you don't have fluidity for the next attack. You want to make sure that you are able to do the next technique. And you want to use your tenouchi, not your arms, for striking. Yes, Iso, that's another thing. When you hit down, people don't want to practice with you. They will hate practicing with you. That being said, when hitting out, especially when you hit from above and you hit in the right spot, it can also be very painful. But it's a little bit different, right? Like one of those, when you get hit here, for example, it's like it hurts, but you're like, oof, there was nothing that got in the way to hit that kote, right? So, and you see, he comes in forward with the attack. And there's another thing, he doesn't get stuck at the moment of the impact. He immediately brings the body forward.
そしたら今音が全然違ったの分かるかな。なんで音が違うかって当たった部分がここに当たる。
Again, I like how he said, hitting, striking with the sakigawa, not with the middle of the shiai.
ここに当たるのやったらそれはこっちの方が当たった面積が広いから音鳴るよ。その理屈。練習がずっと大学院時代に毎日できるところじゃないのに。
I like what he says here. The training is not about just going over the drills, right? It's not about just go. So, in my the way that I try to approach my practice is that if I'm hitting one technique, right, I try to make sure that I'm paying attention fully to what is it that I'm working and have something in mind to work on in order to do this technique. When I'm doing, for example, like uchikomi, right, I'm trying to have something in focus to go through as I do this whole drill. So I'm trying not to just say, I'm gonna be at the dojo, I have to do, 20 kirikaeshi, done. It's like, it's not a number for me. I try to have some type of goal and some type of focus during each strike. And I agree with that. I think this is the best way to get progress. Much more progress, much faster.
皆さんもそれを思ってこれからやってくれたらいいなと思います。なので一番最初に言った審判の目線。
I like this too, right? Pay attention to what referees look at.
審判の気持ちを動かすのは自分自身の気持ちと技の。
So this is a very interesting point that I feel that also sometimes we don't really pay attention to, right? When we go to competitions, many times when I've gone to competitions, I see people complaining about, oh, Shimpan are not giving kote, Shimpan are not doing this, Shimpan are not doing that. I think everybody has their own standard of what good kendo is, but I think there's also like probably it's not the best word, but like an average standard of what good kendo is. And I think if you stick to the things that are going to make good kendo good, get a good ippon, you'll be safe to get, your point. On the other hand, don't let the other person touch you. That's easy, right? So they show a little bit of his kote against Uchimura, which, by the way, he has an amazing kote as well. And Nishimura is going to be on the right with his white, Uchimura's red. And let me do it frame by frame. Because a lot of times we focus on the end result, but also the process to it. What do we need to do to get that kote is very important. It gets stuck. Okay, so sometimes the VLC gets stuck when I do it at the end. Okay. So he starts putting the pressure forward. He anchors his left foot, and then he throws himself forward as he does the technique. You see, he's not just committing to the technique with his upper body only. He's using also his lower body. Gets that impact and then gets out of the way. Very nice, very nice. I think it's great execution of kote. I think it's a great point to keep in mind. And for me, I guess the advice to add on to this, it's always work on what do you need to do to make that technique successful. So it's not just about hitting the kote, but it's also about what do you need to make that opening. And that's something that maybe we can study on the next couple of videos. So actually, this video that I'm gonna play now is... This is too loud. Hold on. Put this a little bit louder. And is the music too loud? Is the music okay? You just tell me, guys. How's your experience in the stream? Okay, so this one, it got sent to me, I believe, I don't know if Pokemon is here, but Herman, he's the one that sent me this video. And this is against Jordan. We're gonna see all the Ippons in this fight. I don't know what happened with this guy, Sankei International. They used to post very good videos, but I haven't seen anything lately from them. And I like how they did the breakdowns of what happened, a little bit of explanation. Missed that. So, here's the replay. So, very interesting. This is one of the reasons why, especially if you're doing Kendo against Jordan, you want to try to pick up every opportunity that you might see. And great impact, great execution. What I'm gonna be nitpicking, but analyzing, it's the angle of the kote, right? Because this kote is so low, and at this point he's so close to him, he cannot extend, okay? And this is another point to keep in mind. When I made the video on Monday about kote, I was talking about in the setting of Kihon, you want to try to get it with full extension. But when you're so close, obviously that full extension is not possible, so you have to adjust to it. Ideally, you want to throw the kote wherever it needs to be, but the most important part is to have that tenouchi, and the tenouchi is what's going to give you that extra little speed at the end. And if you notice, look at the bend of the sword, right? I think it's a very nice target. He hit it like right in the right spot. and you can see the angle in which the force is kind of going in, right? It's not bending kind of like more in the middle. It's kind of like forward a little bit, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but you tell me. Great attack, I think. So that was an attempt to the Kote, I believe, right? Because he raised his hands. One of the things that I keep saying is that you want to make sure that you're very careful against Jodan players because of the Morote Kote, but this one was a Katate Kote, right? I think it just missed out of the where he aimed for the Kote, because it aimed a little bit off target, but I think it was a great opportunity. So, sorry, what I was saying is that you want to make sure that you're very careful as you raise your hands, because when you raise your hands, you enter under feel. When you're midway raising the hands for the Morote Kote, it's very easy for them to get it if you have your hands up. Very nice attempt for the Kote as well, and a defense with the man from Jodan. Okay, so he missed obviously because he moved the Kote out of the target, and Jodan player just attacked forward for that man. So one of the things that I feel that is happening here is that he is kind of, why did he miss this Kote up here, right? I think he misses Kote up here because he came in with a big pause, and then he decides to go for the Kote, so it kind of became a little predictable, right? I feel that when you're doing this type of things, you want to maybe not so sharply. Okay, two options. Either you sharply come in and immediately transition into the Kote, or you slowly pressure into the Kote and immediately go into the other Kote, right? From the left to the right. So ideally you want to try to keep either a fast time or accelerate the timing, but I feel that here was kind of like the same time and there was a pause in between. Right? So it was like just a full stop. This is what I was talking about earlier, that there's this full stop. But instead, if you would have done a little bit of pa, right, and accelerated after, maybe would have been a little bit successful. Maybe not. This one, I feel that Kote, and again, because we're talking about Kote, I'm going to try to be looking out more for the Kote attempts, but I feel that this one wasn't in the right angle. I feel like this one came in. Okay, yeah. So this one came in more straightforward, and the Kote kind of was, hold on, we just got another Kote. I need the other hand for this one. Okay. So, Jodan player has the Kote up here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Okay. So, Jodan player has the Kote. Maybe it would be smarter if I just put the Kote on, right? Is this useful, guys, or am I wasting too much time on this? But let me see. Okay, so the Jordan player has kind of like the kote up here, and his opponent. Maybe I should do the full camera. So the Jordan player has the kote up here, and I feel that the opponent kind of came with the kote straight forward this way, where if he would have come in an angle, I think he had a little bit of better chances. So I think the reason why this one wasn't successful was more aiming than anything. Maybe the timing, I think it was good, the approach and everything, but I think aiming was the tearing factor, I guess, right? So if you see, as he comes in forward, you see he came from underneath straight forward rather than that going to the right. I am planning, I talked to somebody that he wants to come in, he practices Jodan, and maybe he can share all this stuff. So yes, this is in the plans, and I'm also trying to talk to somebody that does Nito to do that. But I want to plan it. If you guys have any videos that you would like to get maybe a little bit of extra explanation about it, send them my way, and I can discuss it with them before we do the stream and then bring that up together. It's in the works, my friend. It's in the works. So this guy is cool because you see he's trying to catch that extra kote in the floor, right? Like in the lower kote. So this is kind of like their house of Jordan, right? The distance, and when there is distance and the player becomes overly defensive, especially with the sword so close to their body, especially when they have the sword so close to their body, right here, it's really an open invitation. Now, the point is that at this point, I don't think that he is yet in a bad position, because he could have a forward intention and kind of bait the Jordan player to come in. Depending how confident and good he is with his shiai work, he might get him to throw a kote and then maybe do kind of like suriyagemen. But the problem was that he kept going backwards and he just stayed there, right? Very, very, very dangerous position to be against Jordan. In my approach against Jordan, I try to either bait them to attack. I try to bait them to attack to lower their sword, so kind of deflect or challenge, or I try to close in the distance where it kind of just forces them to change their kendo. They're gonna have to go from Jodan maybe down to Chudan, get into a Tsuba Seriai. Granted, with the new code rules, there's a little bit of an adjustment to that, but those are like kind of like my main 2 points. Gotta kind of challenge or trying to bait him. So kind of like this, right? So red throws a kote, and maybe because he was in this position, he already expected, because kote again is a very popular technique for Jordan players. When he was in this position, it was very risky. Still, you see, he allowed his opponent to kind of bring in. I think if red would have done morote kote instead, he would have had a little bit better control to throw in a better angle. But oh, it looked like he missed the man too. But I think it's a good reaction, right? So here they're going to ensure they're gonna go through after he gets that kote on the end. Yeah, okay, now that we have a little bit of better context, one of the biggest things that I always try to focus on and tell the people when I'm practicing is that this big process without someone, if you're not proactively closing the distance or managing to get out, the other person I feel like is processing the information to get you, right? So at this point, Red wanted to separate, right? But he's being very passive about it. And yeah, it cost him. I don't know. I like when people take this type of opportunities. I don't know about you. I think a lot of times, not that much anymore, but many times you see people having a little bit of trouble against Jordan, mostly because they're not familiar with how to fight against Jordan. Okay, guys, so as you know, I had a little bit of trouble with the stream early on, so I kind of don't want to go over too much, so too long on the stream, and I'm gonna play one more video, and this one is going to be Miyazaki's Kote. I chose him. I actually purposely looked for him just because first, it's Miyazaki, right? The other thing is his versatility and the way that he throws the techniques in so many different angles. I think it can give us a lot to study. That being said, I think Miyazaki's Kendo is one of the types of Kendo that you cannot easily replicate, right? Maybe we can take elements to it and put it into our Kendo, but Miyazaki, I think, is one of those. It's like he's a phenomenon of Kendo. So Jordan is too sexy for most people to handle. Yeah, man, they're up there. What about Nito? Is that like double sexy now, or half because it's only one hand up? Anyways, that's funny. Miyazaki's Kote. So, before I let you guys see the first one, I'm gonna try to break it down into categories, over and under, right? And trying to separate a little bit about, as we talked earlier, the approach between hitting over and hitting under, and the angles where you're going to be hitting from. So, very explosive, very explosive. Immediately that he saw the opportunity, he saw the kote coming in, and this is more of an under kote, right? If you see, the left hand is going down to raise the tip and then hitting the kote pretty much from the same position. Even the slow motion is bad. Why this music is so loud too? Hold on. Let me lower that music. What's up with? Okay, I'm gonna because this is all music. Maybe I should lower down all this. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube, but watch this. This one is hard to watch because of the angle. Let's try to go frame by frame. But one thing that I like about this one is that he makes the opening making a little bit of an exaggerating motion in order to open up the opponent, right? Look. Right? He makes that exaggerated motion to go around, and we cannot really see the angles of the hands, but I can assure you that he's extending forward. Sorry, I think your name is in Russian if I'm not mistaken, and I cannot Victor, right? Victor. I could read it. I have been struggling with the sanshin for Kote. Any tips for that? Okay, so let me go and talk a little bit about what we talked earlier. Is that when you talk about first let me ask you, when you say you're having trouble with the sanshin for Kote, are you talking about going through, or are you talking about tayatari against the person? And if you can tell me a little bit about what exactly is the problem that you have with the sanshin, I can maybe give you some of my possible solutions. Now, what we said earlier, and this is the first video that Nishimura showed, that we showed about Nishimura, is that many people try to reach over hitting without really moving the feet. So in order to kind of have that sutemi, that throwing your body into it, you have to throw your legs, start the motion with your legs, rather than trying to hit the kote just with the hands and extending over, reaching over for it. But while you write me that, because I know YouTube takes a few seconds to transfer the information, I'm gonna keep playing the video. I wish I had another angle on this one. Now, okay, Miyazaki against Jordan. Okay, for me, I saw this video a long time ago, so I don't remember, but I think for the way that he's coming in, he's trying to seme for the left kote. Very interesting. So this is so cool because it's very compact, right? Now, look how he extends the hands forward and the moment of the technique, right? Look. And what happens first? The legs or the hands? Let's see. Look, right here, he's anchoring with the left leg. He starts pushing forward, and then he extends the hands immediately into it. What's so cool about this is that, again, he's extending up. Granted, the kote is above, so he has to do that. But he is getting a full extension, and it's almost like a stab, even though the tenouchi makes it a hit, right? So, watch. So simple, and it goes to say that you don't need that much upswing to get a good impact, right? Look how much is this is the maximum upswing that he got. He went directly into a technique. Tenouchi, tenouchi, extend, tenouchi. Okay. So, Victor, you're saying that you can't really follow your shiai and you tend to stomp the ground after hitting the kote. So, I'm guessing that you mean like you sink in after the hit. One thing that I'm going to say is that if you practice the fluidity of fumikomi, it could help you. To be honest, I'll have to see exactly what you mean. I'm guessing that you're landing down on your right foot, and I'm curious to know if you have this problem when you hit men as well, right? I'm gonna say if a lot of times with my students or beginners that I see around, the biggest problem at the beginning is when they hit down. Let me see if I can change the camera real quick and you guys can see this. Maybe I can put it like this a little bit, and maybe like this. You really guys can't see it, but okay. So when you see people that they try to do, for example, lunges, they go like this. They tend to put their weight forward. Okay, they put their weight forward, and then the left leg is completely. I need to have another camera here. It's completely, or not completely, but there's no pressure into it. So what you want to do is you want to learn how to, when you land in your lunge, your force can still be applied with the left foot to bring yourself forward rather than this. But again, I don't know if this is what you mean for the fumikomi. So discipline equals freedom. Thank you for passing by the way. If you practice correct and deliberate kirikaeshi, all other kuasa is just white noise. The key is kirikaeshi. I agree 100%. Kirikaeshi gives you so much on everything. So Victor, you're saying you're landing down on your foot when you hit kote, but you have less of that problem while hitting men. So the biggest thing that helped me improve my fumikomi is understanding that I don't have to do such a long step, right? You can start by doing it shorter and trying to get a good fumikomi, and pay attention to the function of fumikomi, not really trying to make a loud sound. So when people say, or when sensei say stronger fumikomi, it doesn't mean to make a louder sound, it means to pull you forward more. When I was in Greece, one of the senseis that I practiced with, he gave me a great and amazing tip, and it's that imagine that you're gonna do a second fumikomi right after the fumikomi, right? So you have to bring your legs quicker. This made so much sense to me because years back, I realized, and actually a friend of mine made me realize, that many times when you do kote men, for example, your footwork for the kote is flawless and then it breaks down on the men. So if you add that extra fumikomi after, it will make your body just come in so much smoother. Great tip for me. Think about the way he said it, think about the third step. After your fumikomi, you have to do another step. So you have to prepare yourself. You have to have your body already with intention that you're gonna do the next step. And if you think that this step is going to be a fumikomi, it's going to get your body to much more quicker readjust and stabilize itself so you can do the next fumikomi. So for example, if you're doing kote, you think about doing kote men with your feet. If you're doing, or maybe kote, I don't know, however you want to break it down. Does that make sense? I'm trying to say it in one sentence without rambling too much, but I end up going somewhere else. Discipline, you say Kirikashi teaches you your handle, your strength, flexibility, where you don't have to contort your body like Miyazaki Sensei is doing. All that contouring is a waste of energy. Waste of energy and waste of time. It takes longer. A lot of times, I don't know if you see that people try to do like this type of motions to hit the man, for example. It takes you longer, it goes around, it's just not efficient. Anyways. Sometimes you have to reach, yeah, but that was such a fast kote. So and this one, it's a little bit of an interesting approach, because to hit this kote, you have to go around. It's a kaeshi, right? It's like almost like a kaeshi man, but a kaeshi kote. And he goes with the bounce to hit the kote at an angle. It's crazy. It's nuts. Victor, if you need any other help, let me know. We're here. But also, so you know, I don't know why the Discord link hasn't showed up. You guys can pass by the Discord server and the link should be popping up. Aisha, welcome to the stream. So, you know, we have a few people over there. I'm thinking of doing for members, just having kind of like a breakdown, or you know, if we do like our own video analysis, just like get a few people and just do it this way. I think it could be interesting as well. So you guys are welcome to give me suggestions of what you think I should do for the streams or for members, you know. Okay, let me keep playing. Crazy Kote. Oh, let me also get the Discord server because it didn't pop up. Okay, guys, I'm pasting the Discord server link on the chat. Okay. Let me go back a little bit. I want to see this last two kote. That kote, okay. This is one of the things that I always try to remind people, is that when you're doing your technique, you want to go with everything you have. You don't have to be going with everything you have at all times, but it's at the moment that you pull the trigger, it has to come out like a bullet, right? So I have a friend that he used to tell me, when you do a technique, the moment when you execute, when you're pulling the trigger, it should feel like somebody just plugged electricity in your body and you're like shocked into it, right? Of course, after you have practiced your kihon to make it efficient, you don't want to have extra movement, right? So if you see that the change of timing, the change of like the change in the speed of the biomechanics of his body, it's like very, very, very different. Relax, tense, relax. Look, you see, it's, to me, this is my goal. This is my goal. Be able to be relaxed as much as possible, but when I say so, I shoot. Discipline. A lot of Miyazaki Sensei Kendo is a lot of high risk, high reward type of Kendo. Yes, and that's why I said at the beginning of this video, his Kendo, don't try to do his Kendo, right? Let's try to pick up elements and put them in ourselves. But Miyazaki's Kendo, it's something else. It's something else. I can tell you this, I bet you, it's not that I bet you, I know, and I'm sure you guys know that there's many things happening here that we don't even understand. Look how compact. Oh, okay, maybe this one is actually very cool to break down, to compare it to Nishimura's Kote, because he's doing this one underneath in kind of the same setup, right? So he goes underneath, but look what he did. He actually lifted the tip to bring the tip, he lifted the left hand to bring the tip down, and then brought it down to create that swing. But listen, he separated maybe this much from the Kote and got a crazy, crazy impact. Yeah, here's something else. Ah, look at that one. He's so good at catching those. You see, this is next level, right? When he's just catching the hand, just hanging there. He just, again, another, listen, this, I don't know about you, but this, to me, this is a very difficult technique. There has a lot of things happen. Like that men, Kaeshi Kote, he makes such, he adjusts the distance with the left foot, anchors, and immediately comes in. Then gets out of the way. Very fluid, very nice. And look at the timing when he adjusts the distance. He's so calm. Let's see one more time. Oh no, hold on, one little bit back. Look, he starts going back when his opponent is going forward. Look, you see, he's on the way forward. He deflects and counters. Nasty. Listen, he's something else, man. Again, I'm guessing that this is one of his Tokuiwaza, right? Maybe we should watch more of his fights in the future just to see how he sets this up. He seems very calm. He gets a little bit of a reaction when his opponent kind of goes down, but he immediately goes back into it. And again, look at the change of timing and the change. You can even say there's two different people. The moment when he's kamae and the moment when he triggers the waza. See, the deflection or the block comes in at one speed, but when he throws the technique, it's a whole different thing. I don't know if you guys try to do this mindfully during your practice. It is really, really hard to keep it in mind to make it natural to come in, right? He's so good with this one. He's so good with this Kaeshi Kote. He's so good at coming around for that Kote. And you know what? Since he's done so many times, let's start a little bit of the angles. Aisha, yes, he is next level. I mean, I think not next level. He's like 3 levels above, you know. So, look at the way that the kote is coming in, and this is another thing that I kind of want to talk about in my kote video. So, okay, we went over kote straightforward, but sometimes you do have to go around for the kote, right? Especially when the person it's moving, maybe blocking a little bit to the side and you need to go around it. But how you do it is very important. You don't want to do it with the right hand to move around. The left hand is what's guiding the motion of the sword, and you can see it very clearly right here. See, look at the left hand. The left hand makes the tip go down, makes the tip go right. He brings out both hands, right? You can tell that he's not leading with the right. He's actually bringing the sword with the left and following the shiai with the right. At least that's what I feel like. You see, the motion is led by the left hand. And when he goes around, look at how he leads again, as we saw with Nishimura, throws the kote, throws the left hand in. Another one right here. I'm amazed about like how calm he looks, and then how he triggers that speed. Yes, Aisha, that speed. How he triggers that right at the moment when he says go. You see? And I think that also makes it look that much more faster, right? That he's chill. He's chill. He's moving in, and at this point still he hasn't given up. He has not given away where he's going. Then when he decides to go for a motion, he in one fluid motion throws a technique. Look how he goes around and leads with the left hand. Discipline. Tani Sensei and Koda Sensei are real next level. When Tani Sensei went against Miyazaki Sensei had problems. I mean, listen, of course, I mean, like hopefully he's not an alien, right? So definitely there's some kendoka that definitely give a good fight, and there's a lot of amazing senseis out there, no doubt, no question. Just happened to Miyazaki was a little bit of a different thing, right? But you know what? Let me write this down so maybe we can watch this fight maybe for next stream. So, because that I don't want to forget. Yeah, Aisha, the control over his body is just crazy. And again, it's one of the skills that I feel that we all need to develop, to learn how to move without tensing up our upper body. This is crucial. This is a very cool technique as well. I really enjoy this technique. It's a little bit of a, Oh, let me ask you guys. Do you think this is harai or suriage? Hold on. Not this one. Not this one. Give it a second. This is something that I have a little bit of a running joke with some people. But, okay. Is this harai or suriage? So, no, in one motion. And then, of course, we gotta talk a little bit about the feet, right? Look how he engages the lower body as he's doing this. He's not reaching over. You see, he starts the motion for both hands and legs. He almost kind of braced himself a little bit before committing to the kote, but he made it fluidly into the technique. Very nice, very nice. Victor, what do you mean over? Yeah, my question is, was that motion right here harai or suriage? Okay, discipline says suriage. Let's see if we get a little bit of a different. And okay, so what makes suriage? Let's deflect a little bit. And where's my? And I'm gonna try to not make stuff up, and I'm gonna have this guy that I always have with me to kind of solve the dilemma. Is this suriage or is harai? So let me just go into the glossary of the book and let's have a little bit of a talk. So the question is, let me just play one more time if anybody's joining in here. Hold on. The question is this suriage or is this harai? Okay, so Victor says, sorry, you're not familiar with the Japanese terms. So it's just this motion, Victor. Suriage and harai tend to be very similar. So we kind of want to solve the question, is this suriage or harai? So discipline, you say suriage, it's in the name, is to lift. You're correct. It's a sweeping, your sweeping motion on the way up, right? Suri, like suriashi as well, right? Like sweeping motion. And harai is usually a slap. So I just want to look for harai here. Okay. And I'm gonna explain it to you as it was explained to me, and I recognize that the way that it was explained to me might not be the best, the perfect. Hold on. Okay. So let me read up both of the. I'm gonna read the definition of harai and suriage from the official guide for Kendo instruction. Which, by the way, if you don't have this book it's a must for anybody doing Kendo. Not only if you are a coach, a trainer, a sensei, but also as a practitioner of Kendo in general. Knowing a lot of this information, I believe, will make you a better Kendoka. So harai, to deflect the tip of the opponent's shiai off center by instantaneously knocking it from right to left or from left to right. So knocking from left to right, I believe that discipline, you're saying a slap. I guess a slap, it's also a knocking, right? And suriage, to deflect the striking's opponent's shiai with the own shiai. So as we both start with the same word, deflection, right? Swinging upward from below and contacting the opponent's shiai as if it's drawing an arc with the tip of the shiai. So it's like drawing an arc. Thus making the opponent's strike invalid. There are two ways of doing this. One way uses the left side of the shiai and the other one uses the right side. It is important to snap the wrist when moving the shiai and to not leave a gap between the deflecting action and the striking action. So the harai and suriage are a little bit more. The suriage, it's a little bit more complete, I believe, a little bit more complete. But the next point that I wanted to show is this. Hold on. And this is the way that it was explained to me. You are correct. I believe the striking and the sweeping are very characteristic points of the waza. But they're classified, harai and suriage are classified differently. Harai is shikake waza, right? So I'm trying to find if there's a list of the shikake waza. Okay, hold on. Okay, so initiating attack. Okay, so initiating attack, and okay, maybe if I edit this video, I'll just put a little picture. Harai waza, it's under shikake waza, and suriage waza, it's under oji waza, which are deflecting waza. So for oji waza, you need the opponent to attack, to commit to a technique in order for you to do. Oh wait, sorry, this started playing. For suriage, you need the person. I mean, for oji waza, you need the person to commit to an attack in order for you to do your deflection. For shikake waza, you deflect the point out in order to make the opening for you to go. So the reason why I was told it's called suriage is because if the opponent sword is coming down, you're sweeping it off out of the way, because you can do the same motion, like the same movement with the sword to knock it or to sweep it. And what gives the sweeping action is the motion of the sword coming in. And when you're coming in, it's more like if a knock and coming in and to hit. You can do similar movements and then they will be classified in different points. So to break it down, to make it simpler, the way that I was told is that harai waza, it's shikake. So you initiate the deflection and get it out, where suriage, it's a deflection of the incoming attack. So this is how it was explained to me, because the motions can be very similar, if not the same, depending on the scenario. Does that make sense? I don't know if you guys agree with that or not. I'm just going by what I was told and how I see it based on this book right here. It's just an interesting, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because what you want is functionality. And this is the point that I always try to make with this channel. I try to stick with the English, because you're looking to see how your motions are effective. And maybe it can be confusing to say, oh, do suriage, do harai, but you can just talk about making each more effective, talking about the motion, talking about the timing and the execution. So at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters. It's just a fun fact to, I don't know, talk about. Anyways, Kote. So wait. Discipline, you said I explained it correctly. Thank you. I hope I did. I hope I'm not making any person here more confused. If I am, please let me know, and I will try to address it. Another thing though is that for suriage, for the incoming attack, you have to do it as Discipline mentioned, because it's going to be much more effective. And I guess I should do a regular shiai. So I think what's very important about, let me do it with a regular shiai. What is very important about harai is that harai, you can knock the tip. Hold on, let me not knock my drink down. With harai, you can knock the tip by, slapping onto the side or slapping the other side. You can even deflect it out this way, right? But for suriage, if you do this, you have high chances of missing it and then being wide open. So especially if you go like this, wide open, right? But if you deflect by sweeping in, you're protected, and then you transfer that forward into the opponent, right? Where if you do this, especially if you're not moving, you get hit. So I think this is one of the main things. I don't think you can do that classical slap motion for suriage and be it as effective as if you do that sweeping motion that we're talking about. Also, you want to snap the wrist into a tenouchi, so you don't want to do this and then this. My goal, for example, is to go into like instead of pop. I hope that makes sense. Oh, Ash, how you doing, man? Welcome. You're Ash, the Nito guy, right? My Nito friend, I believe. If you are, awesome, cool. Earlier on, we're talking about Jordan and Nito. So since you've been doing Nito for a while, maybe you can also be one of the persons we can talk about some of the Nito aspects of Kendo. Anyways, how you doing, man? Thank you for passing by. Okay, so yeah, that was my explanation with Suriage and Harai. Oh, I like this one. I really like this one because it really, it's so clean. So listen, the distance here, it's a little bit close, right? And now they're playing a lot with the pressure. When you're doing a lot of this stuff, what you want to do is you want to gather information. So he played, let's go a little bit back. So in here, you see he's closing the distance. He's trying to hook into the shinai. When he does this, this creates a little bit of a small panic inside, and then a little bit of another reaction. If you see, he opened up clearly. He didn't fight him down. He just allowed his opponent to bring the sword up, and he brought it with him. The timing is so important. And so this is one of the things that I don't know how to pass it down. I don't know how to practice it as well consciously, right? I don't know how to say, okay, this is exactly what we're gonna talk about, besides just making people aware of it and tell them to try to do it. Because this is something so simple yet so powerful. He lifted his sword with the opponent's shinai, and in one motion, you see, he went into the kote. Again, a kote from above, very well extended, and the speed in which he attacked is different at the speed that he was doing when moving the shinai up and down. Look at the change of speed, right? You see that there's one speed when he's talking with the shinai, and then there's another speed when he pulls the trigger. I'm gonna call it pull the trigger, by the way. Yes, it means the moment when he shoots the technique. Crazy. This one had a little bit of too much extra motion, but that's something that goes with that feeling of putting everything into it. You see? He goes around, but it's not even that much. The extra motion is not that much. And it worked well to anticipate where his opponent was gonna have the shinai. Discipline, you're saying for your uchima, you apply suriage onto your motodachi, into your aite, monouchi, while for harai, in one of the middle where you're in isokuito no mae. Hold on, let me process this. I think there are some words that maybe didn't get typed correctly. Well, for your uchima, you apply suriage and the opponent's monouchi. Okay. While for harai, you're in the middle. So you're in the middle where I'm in isokuito no mae. So sorry, I'm not catching on very well onto what you're trying to say. But it does bring up a very interesting point that a lot of times when people do harai, they aim for the tip, and this is not the right thing unless you're in motion. And as a matter of fact, it shouldn't really be on the tip. It should be more at least this part of the sword. I think the sweet spot is here, but the sweet spot might be a little bit hard to aim for, especially if the person is moving forward. So, but especially for Suriage, if the sword is coming down, you don't want to aim for the tip because there's high chances of missing it. You definitely want to aim more towards the body of the sword to get out of the way. These are the things that I tend to see the most struggles with for people when trying to do either Harai or Suriage. Because if you do it too much in the tip for Harai, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna get it out of the way, but by the time that you're approaching, the person can bring it back, right? So you have to you cannot do it 1, 2, 3, right? Or even one step and go. You have to either step in, Harai, and then step in for the attack, or step in and attack. Hope that makes sense. Alines, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about hitting Kote on an angle. And this position that many people like to do to attack the Kote. So look at this. As he's approaching, he goes into a circular motion. He adjusts where the sword has to be with the right hand, and then with the left hand, he finishes the angle to go. So it's almost like a katsugi, right? But again, look at that pulley action of hitting like this. So this is something that I've talked to with several people before. And yes, you can do this when doing the hits a little bit like sideways, competition reasons and so on. This is not the ideal. I'm not saying don't do it, because of course people are gonna do it, but there's a couple of things that you should know. Right after he does this, look what his body does, right? He re-engages the left leg, and then for some reason this thing froze. Oh, okay, froze because they're gonna switch the video. Hold on. Look what happens after the Kote, right? He re-engages the left leg, pushes into the body, and in this case, he didn't crash. He immediately went in to go through and be in Sanshin, right? It's okay to do those type of hits, but please don't do them with the right hand. Look at the use of the left hand. Look how the left hand moves the tip. Let's wait for the slow motion. Hold on. I'll frame by frame the slow motion. So he does this katsugi type of thing. Look at the left hand pushing out and then pulling to bring the tip down, right? And the right hand really relaxes right after. Let me catch up with some of the comments. Alice, you're asking where you guys from. So I am in Miami, but I am originally from Venezuela. And thank you for the support on the videos. Hopefully I'll be coming up with some good ones soon. You guys enjoy it. Disciplines, you're sorry for the confusion, but for Harai, you do it between the first and second knuckle of the shinai. Okay, cool. So we're talking a little bit about the same thing. Yes, and that's what I was kind of talking about, right? You don't want to hit at the tip, because then what's gonna happen is the person's gonna come back. But you also don't want to do it too deep, because then here is super hard. Sorry with the microphone. It's super hard to move the shinai away. So again, for me, the sweet spot to control the shinai, it's always here. Whether it is for Suriage or Harai, or maybe like, right, side, like even for Makiwaza, anything you want to do, suppression the shinai, knocking it off. This is the sweet spot. Here is too hard to control. Here is too easy for the opponent to come back to center after the technique. So if you focus in this spot, it's a little bit easier to get control of your opponent's shinai. It's easier to control your opponent's shinai, but you also have to do it with your tip, right? You don't want to wait to be up here in order to make that happen. You want to use your tip to get into your opponent's body. No pun intended. Okay, Alines, you're reading from UK and you started Kendo when you started university. Oh, how long ago? So you're EQ. You're going for your EQ in a few months. So I don't know if you're aware, but we have a Discord server for everybody that it's here. You can go to the Discord server. In the resource tabs, there is a testing guide that goes all the way to Godan. One of the members that is someone that's in the channel in the server right now is the person that translated it, and I think it's a great resource to have overall. Unfortunately for me, I found this after I passed my Godan, because I think I would have been much at ease having that guide personally if I had it before going for my Godan. Anyways, it's in the resource tab. You can download it, have fun with it. And if you have any questions, you can always ask us. We have a good group of people willing to help everybody in their Kendo journey. Nice, Kote. So interesting, right? Who was it that was here earlier? Oh, Victor, right? You were talking about the Kote and the follow through, right? So if you look at White, look what happens when he throws the Kote. He gets stuck. Oh, let me go frame by frame. So you see, he hits the Kote down, and he puts the weight only in the right leg. The left leg, even though that it gets there, is not really pushing forward. So Miyazaki is able to get the Kote, that opening on the Kote, also because he pulled his hands back, right? If he would have brought the left leg forward and he would have put less weight on the right leg and instead just putting it forward, maybe he would have been able to close the distance and not be able to get hit. Yeah, so you see, like, if you bring the left leg forward and immediately push, thinking that you're gonna do another fumikomi after that, I think that's gonna be... Listen, if you're in this position where you get stuck and you hit and you're not moving, the best advice I got about this is think that you're gonna do another technique. Think you're gonna do another fumikomi, so the left leg will come forward and you immediately start pushing, so your body stays in momentum and you're able to close the distance or do another technique if you need to. But if you put all the way down on the left leg, but if you put all the way down on your right leg, you're gonna get stuck and it's gonna be much, much harder to hit, and this would happen. Victor, so you're asking, 5 Dan, how old am I? Yes. You cannot get stuck like that? Okay, you understand now. So ideally what you want to do, I will say, practice hitting Kote. There was, when I was in Japan at one of the universities, I practiced with, you guys can't see it, but they will practice Kote. They will do this type of drills like when warming up. You hit the Kote like in a very short space, but bring the left leg very quick. Almost, if not at the same time, it was like the fumikomi and the left leg were coming in at the same time. And then from there, your left leg pushes as if you're going to do another step. I think if you get into the habit of learning how to pull your left leg forward and doing this naturally, I think it's also a very big point to bring your kendo up. Again, Miyazaki and those Kaeshi Kote, right? Look at that. He does it so chill too. Look how he moves the sword around. Such a good extension, such a good impact. So for Degote discipline, you said that you always do Tatari to regain your Uchima. So what you're saying is that you try purposely to go for the Tatari rather than going through? Is that what you're saying? I'm not saying it's anything wrong, I'm just trying to understand. Just trying to put a picture in my head. very look at the speed. Look at this is another thing. Okay, so he is going underneath, and look at the extension that he's getting on it. Let's see if he does the same thing that Nishimura does, because this is a little bit different since the opponent is not moving forward, right? But look, he does it differently. He brings the tip down by bringing the left hand up, and then now he pushes down a little bit to make the distance, but gets full extension. Very cool, very cool. Very nice. Okay, this is something that cannot go unsaid when we're talking about kote, and it's the angle of strike. So there's a seminar that Kiwara sensei did a while back, and somebody posted it on YouTube, and he's talking about to hit kote in weird angles, you have to make your shinai parallel to your opponent's shinai. So if you see this, hold on, let me make sure that you guys can see my mouse. Okay. So if you see this, the angle when he's striking is very similar to the angle that the opponent is having, right? Many people, for efficiency purposes, they think that's efficient. Instead of kind of like matching the angle, they just try to come in directly into the kote, and this makes it where you're not hitting with the right part, you don't get a good impact. You have to come in, if ever so slightly, in the same angle. Now, to add to that is that you have to get a lot of practice with a lot of people to learn to anticipate where that angle is going to be. It's not like you can wait for the sword to get there and then put your shinai to match that angle. You have to kind of start gauging where the opponent is going to have the kote, where the shinai is going to be, in order for you to do the proper entry for your kote. So if you look at this right here, he commits to the angle, he commits to the kote. Watch, hold on. Look, you see? He goes in, and then he commits into that position at the same time that pretty much his opponent gets there, right? So it's something that you only get with experience, unfortunately. But this is the ideal thing. You want to try to anticipate, and you want to match that angle at the moment of impact. Discipline. You purposely go for kote, but if it's deflected, you use tatari for spacing, so it's hard for my opponent to retaliate. Correct. Perfect follow through. Perfect sanshin. And a lot of, yeah, you need to have, this is what you want to go with continuity. Don't just throw one technique blindly and think that is going to be it, right? I think that's a good approach. He's just too good with this angle changing. Very nice, very nice. I think discipline. I was thinking yesterday about having a kirikashi day today at the dojo, so maybe today I'm gonna make everybody do kirikashi for a long time. Don't tell. But you're saying that's why kirikashi is important, because you can always have the flexibility for many angles. Yes, as a matter of fact, do different types of kirikashi. You can do men kirikashi, you can do do kirikashi, you can do men do kirikashi, and work on getting the angles. It's not about just trying to get it just very shallow. Work in getting the angles, different approaches, the good tenouchi. There's so many good things you can do with kirikashi, and so many benefits. So never go through kirikashi just as in, okay, one more drill that I'm gonna have to do. Do it correctly and get the best out of it. Okay? Very nice. Anyways, that was the last kote from this video. I'm thinking about making some maybe short streams during the week. Oh, what happened here? Everything got stuck. Huh. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Let me see. Can you guys hear me? Confirm that you can hear me, please. Because my computer got stuck, I think. Okay, yeah, you should be able to hear me. Okay. So let me catch up. Let me move this window over here so I can make sure that I can. I think it's the video player that's messing me up. Okay. Alines, your sensei made you do 100 kirikayashis once. So when you say 100 kirikayashi, you mean 100 cuts of kirikayashi or 100 sets of kirikayashi 2 times? Let me know. That's very important. Guys, if you haven't, please hit the like button. Help me push out this channel. Help me grow this channel by sharing some of the videos that I post throughout the week. And yeah, but if you hit the like on the stream, I'm sure it'll get pushed out to more people. I'm sorry today my first stream kind of broke down. So yeah, this is good that we had a decent showing after that. So Alanis also made you do Kote Kirikaeshi. So I don't like to have the students do Kote Kirikaeshi because some people hit way too hard and some people don't like to get hit way too hard. So I try not to do that unless the people know. And I try to fix this when people are hitting too hard because it's not good. You want to have a good, like, proper striking. You want to get good sound, but you don't want to overswing. And a lot of people hit so hard, they don't realize that if they were to miss, that sword will go down to the ground or, you know, will leave you very open. So you want to control your kirikaeshi. Okay, thank you for letting me know, and Ash, that I'm back on the sound. And Alines, you said it made you do 100 cuts of kirikaeshi. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty standard. There's something that you want to build up to because some people, I mean, like if you have a dojo, right? Like some people may get frustrated to do 100 cuts at first, but if you have a good group, yeah, 100 cuts kirikaeshi, it can be fun, and then do jigeiko after you do a lot of, you know, kirikaeshi rounds. Then it really shows you how to not overtense some of the muscles. Discipline, you said that I'm correct. For foot placement, you aim your right foot in the middle of for men and tsuki, and your right foot to your opponent's right foot for kote, and you aim your right foot to your opponent's left foot for do. So I used to do it like this, but now I aim all of them for my opponent's right foot, and then I adjust after the hit to wherever I need to be. The reason for that, unless I'm doing a thing that I'm trying to get out of the way immediately as I hit, I try to challenge more the center. And even when you do, for me, and I'm not saying that this is for everybody, for me, I noticed that even when I was trying to do like I-men and I don't aim to my opponent's right foot, I was getting out of the way. So maybe either I was cheating to get a little bit of an angle, or I was losing the center easier, and senses will be able to get me, you know, effortlessly. So I want to try to keep it on the right, towards the right foot. That being said though, my kamae, I don't have my feet like this, right? I have my feet slightly, like my right foot is slightly tilted this way. So the tip of my toes are a little bit more into the center line rather than that on my side, that are like, you know, by my shoulder. So that's also something to take in consideration. And the first time I started practicing like this was when, sorry, I should drink something. So the first time I started training like this was when I was in Osaka Police. Sato Sensei took a minute to kind of help me with my kamae. And then after that, you know, he explained to me a little bit of like, you know, the lines of power, like the way that how, you know, connecting your feet with your upper body, and it just made so much more sense. So yeah, any any advice, any ways to do it, please share it, because I know that one way doesn't work for everybody. And as a matter of fact, there's no better showing of that than how different kendo you can find in Japan. Anyways, this is going to be it for today, guys. I will try to do maybe shorter streams throughout the week, or trying to do something to help you guys be more engaging, give you more chance to ask your questions. Thank you very much for passing by. I really enjoy having you guys here. You guys keep me motivated to keep learning and to keep improving my kendo. So please, anything I can do for you, let me know. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Please share this channel with somebody you want their kendo to improve, and I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.